The Week 4 review episode of the Bears Talk Underground is brought to you by MyBookie. You know what, guys? The truth is, who you're betting on is just as important as who you're betting with, and that's why I'll tell people to bet with MyBookie. Trust me, guys, they are the best bet you have this season. They've been in business for years, they have great reviews online, and their mobile site is so easy to use. I would only recommend a service to my listeners that's been good to me, and they have been good to me. They are my very first sponsor. That's why I'm urging you to make your way to MyBookie. You win, they pay. They have in-game live betting, over-unders on fantasy points scored, and the most rewarding player perks in the business. And right now, MyBookie is being slammed with new bettors and wants to give everyone the best service possible. If you're willing to deposit after 7 p.m. Eastern, they will give you an additional $25 in free play on deposits over $100. I mean, how can you beat that? Join now and MyBookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar. Use the promo code BEARS25 to activate the offer. Visit MyBookie online today. That's MyBookie, MyBookie. And don't forget to use the promo code BEARS25 when creating your account to claim up to $1,000 in free play. And if you're willing to hold out until after 7 p.m. Eastern, you can get that extra $25 free by using the promo code BEARS25. It's up to you guys. I don't know, but I would wait until Sunday night game's getting ready to kick off here as I'm recording this. Wait until the game kicks off. Go ahead and make your deposit and get that extra money. It's the best way to do it. MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid. This week on the Bears Talk Underground, with an early bye on the horizon, our beloved were determined to head into the break on a high note. But first, they had to bottle up the NFL's top-ranked offense in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and hope that the offense would be able to generate enough points to get the W. Could the Bears contain the Bucs offense, or are they still searching for answers? All of this plus Bear Up and Bear Down on the Week 4 review episode of the Bears Talk Underground. You know, in recent Bear fandom, it has been rare that we get to enjoy a victory like the one that we got to enjoy yesterday. And, it's an unfortunate thing, but it's unfortunate that these haven't come along very often. But yesterday was a whole lot of fun. What's going on, everybody? Larry D back for the Week 4 review episode of the Bears Talk Underground. And, if you'd have told me, if you would have allowed me a glimpse into the future, only telling me what the final score of the Bears-Bucs game was going to be, and I had learned that the score was going to be 48-10, I have no doubt whatsoever that that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would have won the game. Because going into the football game, who was more likely to put up 48 points and only score 10? After struggling to score 16 points against the Arizona Cardinals last week, needing the defense to score over 20 in the first two games against Green Bay in Seattle, if not for defensive touchdowns, though we don't crack 20 in either of those games, and then, like I said, last week we didn't get a defensive touchdown and we could only manage 16. So if you got a glimpse into the future and you weren't told who was gonna win the game, but that the final score was gonna be 48-10, you would have put all of your money on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's just no doubt, because it's a team that racked up exactly that amount of points Week 1 against the New Orleans Saints, and then has put up big points against Philadelphia, and then again last week against the Steelers in a losing effort. So I mean. And it would have been a pretty safe bet as well. So, I mean, that's the thing that's kind of crazy about what happened yesterday. So, especially with who it was that we could attribute it all to. I mean, then let's think again. If you were told that the Bears were going to score 48 points, how many of those points do you think would have come from the defensive side or special teams? Think about the last time that the Bears beat somebody like this. The first one that comes to mind was back in 2012, which was Lovey's last year, when we beat Tennessee something like 52-20 or 52-10 or whatever the the score was. We had 2 or 3 defensive touchdowns in there. Brandon Marshall had 3 touchdown catches and things like that, but it was spread around. It wasn't a full-blown offensive explosion like the one that we saw yesterday, which featured our young quarterback that had yet to have his breakout game, breaking out for 6 freaking touchdowns, matching a franchise record that stood for nearly 70 years now. So it's just an outstanding effort from the offense, a great job of adjusting and making some changes this past week. And there's only really one black eye. Well, actually 2. Now that I think about it, 2 black eyes on the game. One would be the way Jordan Howard was used. I mean, I know that Tariq Cohen was the focus. He was the primary player out of the backfield. That was obvious. He carried the ball 13 times yesterday, more than Jordan Howard did. He also caught 7-8 balls out of the backfield, and it was effective across the board. Basically, Tariq Cohen, along with Mitch Trubisky, could do no wrong yesterday. And that's not my beef. My beef is how Jordan Howard was used. Not so much that he didn't get the amount of touches that he needed, because it's obvious we didn't need a 30-carry game out of Jordan Howard to win this football game. It was more so that every time Jordan Howard was given the football, and he was always running to the outside. And I love Jordan Howard. He's a fantastic running back, but he's not a guy that's going to beat you around the edge and take the sideline or anything like that. Jordan Howard is that guy that you bang between the tackles, and he's going to break for he's going to get the sunlight, and then he's going to make it down the field and maybe make it to the sideline as he works his way through the defense. He's not going to be that guy that you can run the sweep with, and he's going to take the corner and bust it up the sideline. I can't recollect one time we've ever seen Jordan Howard do that. And it felt like, he had 11 carries for 25 yards yesterday. And that's about 2.3 yards a carry is what it ended up being for him. And I can't recollect many times that he was given the football and given the option of running between the tackles where his strengths are. I can remember his long of the day was 11 yards, which means that he had 10 other carries. He averaged 11 yards, 15 yards. So he had 14 yards. So he averaged 1.4 yards a carry on the other 10 carries that he had, yesterday. And that's because there were carries for loss and things like that, because for some reason they kept trying to get him to the outside. And all of Jordan Howard's, not all of them, but most of them, the majority of them should be between the tackles, looking for daylight and getting up into the second level. That's the runner that Jordan Howard is. So, I concede that that's probably not what the game plan was. Obviously, that's not what you do with Tariq Cohen, that little speedy bastard. You give him the ball, and then he will get the corner. Get him to turn the corner and get around the edge and work his way upfield. That's what Tariq Cohen does. That's not what Jordan Howard does. We've given him that thunder and lightning moniker for a reason. Cohen is the lightning, and he was 100% lightning yesterday. Jordan Howard is the thunder. You let him bang between the tackles. That's what Jordan Howard does. And we were trying to get him. He was like a fish out of water, trying to get to the outside and turn the corner and get to the edge and get to the sideline. It's just not what Jordan Howard does. So it was frustrating to watch that just about every time Jordan Howard got a chance to run the ball, that's what the Bears chose to do with it. That to me, I thought that was really the only frustrating thing that I saw on offense yesterday. And then, of course, the other black eye would be on the defensive side, and it really wasn't anything to do with how the defense performed or anything like that, because we added 4 more sacks and 3 more interceptions to our total yesterday. It was the fact that accidental or not, because I've only ever seen a wide shot of the of the actual incident, and that would be of Akeem Hicks making contact with an official that got him ejected in the second quarter yesterday. Not that we really needed him in the second half. We were up 35 points at halftime, but getting himself tossed, accidental or not, it didn't really look completely accidental to me. But I could see how he banged into the referee unintentionally or whatever the case may be. He got himself tossed. And the reason that that's frustrating is not so much that he got tossed from that game, is that, the NFL doesn't take these things lightly. A fine is coming no matter what, but can he be suspended for our next game against Miami after the bye? That's what I'm more concerned with. So hopefully we'll find that out later this week, and we'll know the fate of Akeem Hicks when we do our first quarter review episode later this week with our good friend Lauren Cox. But that's the one thing that upset me more, was not so much that that Akeem Hicks got himself ejected, but that he could also have gotten himself suspended for a game or two, going forward. And we got two big games coming up. Right out of the bye, we got Miami, which is 3-1 right now. They finally lost their first game to New England yesterday, and then we got New England right after that. Those are two big games, and when we got 4 straight against the AFC East when we come back from the bye, and Miami and New England are the two best teams in that division, and we got them right off the bat when we come off the break. So we're going to need Akeem Hicks, especially in that New England game. That's for sure, because I want Tom Brady's ass this time around. He's not going to put up another 50-burger on us, man. I'm not watching that happen. I want to smoke the Patriots. It's in Chicago. We got the horses to beat these guys, and I really want this game. I really want it. So, anyway, what a performance from Trubisky, huh? I mean, unbelievable. Just watching it unfold. It was like watching, Madden against rookie mode or something like that. It was crazy how easy it looked, how much fun it was. I can't remember the last time we had this carefree of a victory against somebody, and I've been trying to think about it. So it's been pretty amazing that the Bears were just utterly dominant across the board. Aside from a few big pass plays from Fitzpatrick to Deshaun Jackson early in the first half, there was no fireworks, no nothing out of the offense for the Buccaneers. And then switching to Jameis Winston in the second half did not provide any kind of spark to the offense, and they only managed a late touchdown in the fourth quarter when it was 45-3 already. So the offense and the defense did its job. Pat O'Donnell had a pretty easy day, only 2 punts that I can think of, and Cody Parkey was on point with his kicks as well. So, I mean, it was a great game across the board for the Bears. So knee-jerk reactions, fairly stress-free this time around, as opposed to last week where the thing was in doubt all the way through. I mean, even going into the fourth quarter, we were still losing. We were down 14-13 and all the rest of that stuff. It looked like we had a firm grasp and taking control of the game and so on and so forth, but it was in doubt until the clock struck 0 against the Cardinals last week. This time, it was never in doubt for the Bears. 14-0 after 1, 38-3 after 2. It was a breeze. So let's go ahead and get to these knee-jerk reactions. And, it was fun to watch the game, and even more fun to be able to recap a game that at first glance had no flaws.
Knee-jerk reaction, first quarter, Bears and Bucs. And stop me if you've heard this before. It's been all Bears in the first quarter. We had 3 offensive drives, 2 touchdowns, resulting in 2 touchdown passes from Mitch Trubisky, a big 39-yard reception from Trubisky to Burton on the first drive. It was the defender fell down, and Burton was so wide open, all he had to do was catch the ball. That's it. All he had to do was catch it. He comes down with it. Bears up 7-0. Then that offense of the Buccaneers was 3 and outs on the first drive. Second drive, I think they got 1 first down, maybe 2 before they had to punt. We've already sacked Fitzpatrick, who was the starter today, as we thought he might be. And then on this third drive here, to close out the first quarter, a big pass play from Fitzpatrick to Deshaun Jackson got the Bucs deep in Bears territory. We just shut them down on 3rd and 5 from about the 20, so we're going to start the second quarter with a field goal attempt. Otherwise, the defense has been outstanding thus far. Kevin Tolliver is earning a bear up as we speak. He's an undrafted rookie free agent doing a good job out there in pass protection, as same as pass defense, if you want to call it that, same as Kyle Fuller at the moment. And we're doing a great job shutting down this high-powered offense. Now, because they are high-powered, we still got to be careful and look out for the big play like the one we had, the one we gave up to Deshaun Jackson. We got to limit that kind of thing and force the Buccaneers to methodically move their way down the field, thus taking up more time and playing into the Bears' hands. But, the second touchdown drive was a beautiful thing. It was a good-looking drive, capped off by a pass from Trubisky to Allen Robinson, his first as a Bear. We're up 14-0, guys, so we couldn't have asked for a better start. We start the second quarter. The Bucs will be attempting the field goal to see if they can make it a 14-3 game. And it's just basically just keep doing what you're doing, and we'll be more than fine when this thing strikes 0 at the end of the fourth quarter.
So one level of caution, the whole, keep an eye out for the big play, because Tampa Bay is more than capable of producing plays like that. And that's the one thing that I had fear of going into it, was that, the Bears in the first few games had shown themselves vulnerable to plays like that with Deshaun Jackson. Because it was about a 50-yard play, if not more, that got the Jackson down and the Buccaneers down inside the red zone there. But, in the end, it was okay. The Bears held. They gave up that field goal attempt, and it was 14-3. Pretty much, we can just say the first quarter score was 14-3, because we were about 5 seconds in to the second quarter when that field goal went through the uprights. And, it was just that was the one thing that I was worried about, was that the Bucs are capable of doing that, and that the Bears were vulnerable to things like that. And could the afternoon go sideways if the Bucs found a weakness and decided to exploit it? Well, unfortunately for them, aside from one more big pass play to Deshaun Jackson later in the second quarter, that was about it for the fireworks offensively for the Buccaneers. I mean, they just the offensive line was horrible against the Bears. I mean, we put pressure on them all over the place. Khalil Mack, another strip sack in there. The Buccaneers ended up getting it back, but 4 games, 4 strip sacks, unbelievable. Even John Gruden, in his victory press conference, the Raiders finally won a game on Sunday, said out loud, Khalil Mack got another strip sack. Are you kidding me? That guy was, apparently put on this earth to ruin John Gruden's life, because, not only has it been so difficult for the Raiders to win a game, but he's constantly reminded of the quote-unquote mistake that he made before the beginning of the season. And it's one where, he traded away the leader in the clubhouse as far as who is the defensive player of the year right now. Could anyone make anything close to another argument that it's not Khalil Mack? I mean, don't even tell me who the other candidates are. Just tell me it's not Khalil Mack. That should be your argument. Tell me why it isn't Khalil Mack. Don't tell me who else it is. Tell me why it isn't Khalil Mack right now, because it is. After 4 weeks, nobody's playing better. No one's had a bigger impact on his team or anything like that. I mean, he's on the short list for MVP of the league. Screw Defensive Player of the Year. This is a guy that's on the short list, probably behind guys like like Jared Goff and Patrick Mahomes for MVP of the entire league right now. That's the kind of start that he's had for us. It's been unbelievable what he's been doing so far. But, so we had that one word of caution in the first quarter, knee-jerk reaction, just because it was only 2 touchdowns. And, unfortunately, we as an offense have not been able to be consistent and, put up a constant stream of points. And little did I know that by the time the second quarter was over, any worry of big plays and or anything like that would be alleviated, and this game would be well in the bag before the halftime gun went off.
Knee-jerk reaction to the Bears and the Bucs after the second quarter. And if we thought things were going well after one, we are in hog heaven after the first half completes. It's 38-3, guys. When's the last time the Bears scored 38 points? This is bananas. Trubisky has five touchdown passes in the first half, which is 2.5 times more than he had coming into this game. He's got passes to Robinson, Cohen, Bellamy. That's right, Josh Bellamy. Even caught it with his hands and not his body. Unbelievable. Trey Burton and Taylor Gabriel. I mean, 5 touchdown passes in the first half. This is the first time, I just saw a tweet, since 1949 that a Chicago Bears thrown 5 touchdown passes in a game. Trubisky just did it in the first half. The defense is doing really well. We're going to be a little short-handed, possibly for the next game as well, because after Eddie Jackson intercepted the Bucs' best chance at a touchdown late in the second quarter, ending a very promising drive by the Bucs, Akeem Hicks got mixed up with another player and ended up shoving an official and got himself thrown out of the game. So no Akeem Hicks for the second half of this football game. We'll see how big of an impact that has. And to tell you the truth, Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't playing badly or anything like that. It's just not going Tampa Bay's way. That's pretty much all there is to it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Jameis Winston out there, considering it's a 35-point deficit they have here at the half. This is completely different from the deficit they had last week against Pittsburgh, because the deficit was self-inflicted. 3 or 4 turnovers in that second half, resulting in all those points for the Steelers. This is just the Bears doing whatever. The Bears have just dominated, flat out dominated the first half. Trubisky can do no wrong, knock on wood, here in the first half. He's, I think, like 16 of 20 or something bananas like that for 250 and 5 touchdowns in the first half. And he's drawn the Buccaneers offside 3 times with his hard cadence at the line of scrimmage. So everything, and then everything again going the Bears' way, except for Akeem Hicks getting himself tossed. We'll see how it goes in the second half. I'm thinking that the Bears may just want to coast with a 35-point lead. I hope they stay aggressive at least in the third quarter and then coast in the fourth. We'll see how it goes from here, but it's looking to be a pretty good Sunday.
Well, there you have it. Second quarter, 24 points put up by the team, 3 more touchdown passes from Trubisky, and actually that touchdown drive that ended with the Taylor Gabriel shovel pass for the touchdown could have actually ended a play or two earlier if Taylor Gabriel gets a better block on his man. Trubisky could have run it in from about 30 yards out. He scrambled up the middle, or broke the pocket, scrambled up the middle kind of thing, and it was nothing but green grass in front of him. Taylor Gabriel gets in front of his guy but doesn't get enough of him to slow him down, and he's the guy that ran Trubisky out of bounds. If he gets a better block, or even just a second, if he stays in his way for one more second, Trubisky runs it in from about 30 yards out, but it wasn't to be. And then Gabriel got his first touchdown catch. Technically it was a forward pass. He got it was a weird formation, not so much a weird formation, but odd in the fact that both Chase Daniel and Trubisky were in the backfield together. So I guess people were thinking maybe some kind of Philly special type play where, Trubisky gets the snap, hands it off to Daniel, and then kind of goes out for a pass, and Daniel throws it somewhere. Instead, Daniel was a decoy, of all things, because Taylor Gabriel kind of did almost like a jet sweep type thing. Trubisky got the snap and then literally just lobbed it forward to Gabriel as he was running by. He goes into the end zone for the touchdown. So, the main thing that we wanted from the Bears in the third quarter, in the second half, was to stay aggressive, do not ease up. I didn't, hear me mention it towards the end there of the knee-jerk reaction that I hope the Bears don't coast, at least not until the fourth quarter, when the Buccaneers are just flat out running out of time. And was happy to see that coming out in the third quarter, the Bears did not coast. They did put another touchdown on the board. They did stay aggressive, even with Winston in the game, looking to try to provide a spark in this football game. The Bears got after Winston. They sacked him a couple of times, forced an interception on his first possession out on the field. Khalil Mack, once again, he was the one that brushed Winston's arm as he was throwing it back, causing it to do this moonball thing and just float up there. And Danny Trevathan falls underneath it for, his third interception, something like that so far this year. And, the Bears capitalize, and they're up 45-3 at the end of three. It was, it's really I'm in really kind of like pinch me mode right now, because I still can't believe the game went the way it did. I believed the Bears could do it. If you'd have told me 58 points were going to be scored in this game, then the Bears somehow won 31-27 or something like that. There's no way. Or if you told me the over-under was 58, I'm taking way under. Because I'm planning on the Bears winning and winning a 20-17 game, because the defense did its job and the offense did just enough to win, kind of thing. And instead, it was it was all Bears 99.9% of the football game. So it was it's those games are fun to watch. They absolutely are, especially in a matchup like this one, where it was a much bigger matchup than we anticipated going into the season. And looking into it, there was a good chance the Bears could lose this game. The Buccaneers are definitely talented enough to beat us. But Nagy and Trubisky were having none of it. And after three quarters, we had a 42-point lead heading into the fourth quarter, just looking to get out healthy.
Knee-jerk reaction, the Bears and the Bucs after three. The Bears still firmly in control of this football game. Mitch Trubisky has added a sixth touchdown pass, a second to Taylor Gabriel after another good drive from the offense, making it 45-3 going into the fourth quarter here. Jameis Winston did start the second half at quarterback, and in his first drive was had his arm brushed by, or is this what is the second? Maybe it was his second drive. Whichever it was, first or second drive, got his arm brushed by Khalil Mack as he was throwing the ball, floats up in the air, picked off, I believe, by Trevathan. I think it was Trevathan, now that I'm thinking about it. But nonetheless, it was Trevathan. That resulted in the Bears' touchdown. The pass from Trubisky to Gabriel was about a 3-yarder. Bears up 45-3. Right now, the Bears are doing a great job of holding the Buccaneers in place. They shut them out again in the third quarter. So the Bucs are in Bears territory. A bogus pass interference call on Tolliver extended this drive on 3rd and 10. We'll see what goes on from here. We finally sacked Winston. One of those things about this guy that he loves to move around in the pocket. He loves to scramble, so he is extremely tough to bring down, because he's also a big quarterback as well. But nonetheless, it's a 42-point lead heading into the final frame. I expect to maybe see a heavy dose of Jordan Howard and maybe some short passes to keep the chains moving, get this game over with, get everybody out as healthy as possible going into this Week 5 bye. But pending some miraculous comeback or an enormous, epic disaster, the Bears are going to be 3-1 after the next 15 minutes are up.
And so it was to be. The Bears did finish off the Buccaneers 15 minutes later. Unfortunately, we did not get out completely healthy. We lost Sam Acho for the year to a pectoral injury, and I'm guessing with the additions of Aaron Lynch and obviously of Khalil Mack, we haven't seen much of Sam Acho out on the field. Aaron Lynch would be the first guy off the bench as far as giving a breather to Leonard Floyd and Khalil Mack are starters. I'm guessing it probably happened on a special teams play. That's where Acho, has kind of earned his keep the last few years and what have you. And it's unfortunate. He's definitely one of those guys that you're a big fan of. A great team player. The players love him, and the fans love him as well. Unfortunately, he's not going to be playing for the rest of the year with that torn pectoral muscle he was put on injured reserve earlier today. So, it's fortunate that it's not a huge loss for the Bears, but more so probably an effect in the locker room, more so than anything that could be done or that anything that'd be lost on the field. Sam Acho is definitely one of those guys that despite his status, is definitely like a leader. He's somebody that the guys respond to. Kind of reminds me of an Anthony Adams kind of guy when he played defensive tackle for the Bears. Maybe started occasionally, would come off the bench, coming behind guys like Tommy Harris and whatnot. But he was just one of those guys that the ritual every week when Spice was on the team was that he would do this dance before the game, to get the team riled up. He was known for it, but he's no star on the field as far as being the guy that you got a game plan for or anything like that. And that's kind of what Sam Acho is right now. He's not that guy that you have to game plan for. He's not that guy you have to worry about. He's a good football player, and he will make plays, and he's going to be missed. But I think his impact is bigger as far as on the field, off the field, between this, on the sidelines and in the locker room. One that he can still fulfill, but it's different when you're not wearing the uniform and you can't get out there with your guys. So any player who spent any time on the injured list will tell you that, So it's unfortunate that he'll be done for the year, but I'm sure that he'll still be around the team and doing whatever he can to help out because he's that kind of guy. But, so unfortunately we did not come out completely unscathed, and we'll be missing Sam Acho for the remainder of the year. So fourth quarter knee-jerk reaction, basically just confirming confirming that the Bears did in fact hang on. They did not blow a 42-point lead in the fourth quarter. Actually added another score, making it 48 points to close the thing out and head into the bye on a 3-game winning streak when, in all actuality, guys, we should be 4-0 right now. But didn't work out that way, and we'll get Green Bay back later on this year. We're gonna get Aaron Rodgers all the way when he comes to Soldier Field in December. He's a dead man, that's for sure. But fourth quarter knee-jerk reaction, pretty much just closing it down as the Bears enjoy their most, as we as Bear fans, the most enjoyable victory we've gotten to watch in quite some time.
Knee-jerk reaction to the Bears and the Bucs after the fourth quarter, and it's a final. The Bears win it 48-10 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. An outstanding effort from Trubisky, Tariq Cohen, Taylor Gabriel. Just a fantastic offensive effort. The one we've been waiting to see from this football team. The one we've been, kind of salivating over since all of these signings started to come during free agency. So very good to see. The offensive line was great all day. I mean, not so great in the running game. Well, I mean, when Jordan Howard was on the field, all of a sudden we couldn't block. It was very much kind of like, if you guys have been with me a while, it's like the offensive line back in the day always knew how to block for Matt Forte, but poor Chester Taylor gets out there and it's -3, -2, caught at the line of scrimmage, that kind of thing. So that's what it was. That's what it kind of felt like today. Whenever Tariq Cohen was running the football, wide open lanes, everything was good to go. Jordan Howard gets in there, and there are 14 guys on the Tampa Bay Buccaneer defense all of a sudden flying all over the place and shutting them down. But that was about the only thing that didn't quite click for the Bears on offense today. The Bears on defense, another outstanding effort, holding the number one offense in football to 10 points, and I'm guessing not a whole lot of yards. On top of that, had some more turnovers in there. I think we got about 4 or 5 sacks again. And Aaron Lynch, Mr. Sandy Vagina himself, with an interception to end the defense's dominance of this football game. So, for better, for worse, we got a bye week next week. After a week like this, the last thing I want this team to do is take a break. But nonetheless, we head into the bye, and then we got 4 straight games against the AFC East, and we'll see how that all turns out. But the Bears are 38-point winners, 48-10 over Tampa Bay, heading into a Week 5 bye. And 3-1, at least going to stay on top of the NFC North while we're on our break.
It's fun being the fan of a first-place team, isn't it? I could definitely get used to it. And if we get any performances that even remotely look like the one we had yesterday, first place is where we're going to stay. Because the rest of the division, I mean, Green Bay had a shutout victory yesterday. The Vikings fought the Rams all the way to the end. The Lions, on the other hand, I mean, they went toe-to-toe with the Cowboys, but the Cowboys are not a very good football team this year. So I fear that the Lions might not be, and I fear that for the Lions and Lion fans. I'm salivating over it as a Bear fan. I can't wait for those 2 games against the Lions in 13 days coming up later on this year when they come to visit Soldier Field and we eat Matt Stafford for lunch and then eat him for Thanksgiving a few days later after that. So kind of looking forward to that stretch now. But, the Bears appear to be the best team in the NFC North at the moment. If not for a miraculous half of football out of Aaron Rodgers week 1, the Bears are sitting 4-0 right now and way up in the power rankings, if you ask me. So, I mean, can't wait to see what the new power rankings are going to look like tomorrow after this Monday night game concludes to see if Kansas City will still be on top of it. And they're currently tied right now with the Broncos. So we'll see where the Bears shake out and when the new power rankings come out, because that's going to be a thing now. If the Bears keep playing the way they are, the Bears are going to make some top 10 lists. I mean, after a game that they had against Tampa Bay, they're going to jump up the board huge. And finally seeing that big game from Trubisky, if the Bears don't make a big jump, then it's because they don't think the Bears are capable of doing it again. Yesterday was a fluke, that Tampa Bay just had a bad day, or they weren't as good a football team as they advertised themselves to be the first 2 weeks of the season. That would be why people won't give the Bears their due after this week. So we'll see how it all shakes out there. But you heard me mention the one thing that didn't click on offense was Jordan Howard, and I kind of referenced it being that old the offensive line blocks like machines for Matt Forte. Becomes a swinging gate when Chester Taylor gets out there. After getting a second look at it, it looks more like what I said earlier in the show, which was we were just using Jordan Howard incorrectly. We were trying to get Jordan Howard, the between the tackles runner, outside the tackles for some reason. We kept trying to get him to do sweeps, and I also concede that some of those lost plays for Howard where maybe they were trying to get to the outside or get to between the tackles, but they ended up trying to bounce it to the outside because the lanes weren't there. So, the Bucs aren't that bad. The Bucs are actually a good run defense team. So maybe that's what it was there. But you get Cohen the football, and he is that little speedy guy that gets to the outside, which is the one thing that makes him such a dangerous punt returner, is that the next time, next week or the week after when we play Miami and we get some punts out of those guys, notice that every time Cohen gets the football, he manages to turn the corner almost every single time. He gets the football. He tries to follow his blocking. He gets to the outside almost every single time. He gets to the outside. He'll turn that corner. Sometimes he's turning the corner to get out of bounds, but he almost always turns the corner. And when you do that, you are opening yourself up to being able to do some serious damage to the punt return team, to those guys trying to tackle you. If you turn the corner and start running downhill, you're the most dangerous man on the field, and Tariq Cohen manages to do that just about every single time. Sometimes he just flat out runs out of real estate and has to go out of bounds, but it's very, very seldom that you see Tariq Cohen getting tackled in the middle of the field. He almost always makes it to the outside and turns the corner and then gets forced out of bounds or something like that. That's where Cohen does all of his damage. Is you get him to the outside, that space between the numbers and the sidelines, and watch out. He smoked the Buccaneers a couple of times running wheel routes out there. As a matter of fact, that last touchdown that Trubisky threw to Taylor Gabriel really should have ended a couple of plays earlier when Trubisky just nailed Cohen down the sideline. He just ran out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds at about the 3 or the 4 yard line instead, because there was nobody in front of him. He was not going to get tackled. If Cohen can manage to keep himself in bounds, it's a touchdown. It is a touchdown. So, he did some serious damage to Tampa Bay yesterday. So, but like I mentioned in the knee-jerk reaction, it just looked like the O-line isn't blocking for him or for Jordan Howard. It's more like it was before. We're trying to get Jordan Howard to the outside for some reason. That's just not what Jordan Howard's strengths are. Get in between the tackles, let him find the daylight, get to the second level, and do his damage there. So that's what Jordan Howard does. So hopefully we'll see some more of that going forward against Miami, and especially I want to pound New England into the ground. I don't give a damn we throw one pass against New England. I want to dominate the New England Patriots physically when we play them. I want Jordan Howard to run the ball 40 times for 300 yards and just punish the Patriots, and that's what I would like to see. But we know it's not gonna go down like that, but it would be awesome if it did. So anyway, 48-10 winners. Our beloved are on a 3-game winning streak for the first time since winning the first 3 games of the 2013 schedule for Mark Trestman in his debut as head coach of the Bears. And we're in first place for the first time since the second to last week of the 2013 season, before we choked our ass and lost against the Packers in week 17. Goddamn Chris Conte. But you deserve to be on IR. You suck. But I'm not bitter about it. I don't think about it every night and wake up screaming or anything like that. Anyway, so that will close the book on the Week 4 review. And we will move on once again to everybody's favorite segment, Bear Up, Bear Down. Guys, my bookie is currently being slammed with new bettors and wants to give everyone the best service possible. If you're willing to make a deposit after 7 p.m. Eastern, they'll give you an additional $25 in free play on deposits over $100. Join now, and my bookie will match your deposit dollar for dollar. So not only do you get an extra $25, they'll match whatever you put into the account. Use promo code BEARS25 to activate the offer. Visit MyBookie online. That's MyBookie, MyBookie. And don't forget to use the promo code BEARS25 when creating your account to claim up to $1,000 in free play. So it's up to you guys. Go ahead and use the promo code, get the extra cash after 7 p.m. Eastern. You play, you win, you get paid by MyBookie. So here we go with the Bear Up and Bear Down. And as our good friend Tim Sanchez correctly predicted, we only have one Bear Down this week. And it does unfortunately belong to one of my favorite players on the team, and that's Akeem Hicks. Got himself ejected from the football game, had a sack in the game, was being his regular old dominant self, and then either was the victim of unfortunate circumstances or an idiot and shoved an official and got himself tossed. And the big negative there is that it could quite possibly get him suspended for one game, maybe 2, if the NFL's in a bad enough mood and finds his conduct extreme enough to suspend him. So we could lose him for 2 very important games we have coming up after the bye. The 2 best teams in the AFC East are waiting for us after this bye week in Miami and New England, and I want Akeem Hicks on the field for both of them, not just one of them. So bear down to Akeem Hicks. That was a mistake that it's just foolish. It's like when you see guys shoving and pushing and swinging at each other and everything. The referee never catches the first guy. He always catches the second guy. You never want to be the second guy. If somebody hits you, do not hit him back, because you know what happened? The referee didn't see the first one. 9 times out of 10, the referee didn't see the first one. He just caught something out of the corner of his eye. He turns his head, and what does he see? You hitting that idiot back, so he assumes it was you. You get the flag and quite possibly get tossed. You never want to be the second guy. So, Akeem Hicks was maybe the second guy and got himself busted and tossed out of the game, and quite possibly a game or two after that as well. So fingers crossed that Akeem Hicks just gets fined, because that's coming no matter what, and hopefully they won't suspend him for any games, because he's not a repeat offender or anything like that. He's not like Ndamukong Suh, who's got the NFL on speed dial, or like the NFL's got his account information. They can just take the money out of the account. That's how often Ndamukong Suh's been suspended. So, but that's our only bear down to Akeem Hicks, and not in there for bad play or anything like that, but for making a mistake that could affect the football team. So we got some bear ups. Let's see. How many did I write down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. We got 11 bear ups. Let's just start randomly. Bear up to Bilal Nichols. This kid, bear up to Ryan Pace, because you drafted Bilal Nichols out of Delaware, of all places, in the 5th round, finding another one of those day 3 gems. This kid has been outstanding, performed well in the preseason. And then, he's on the 53-man roster. He's on the 45-man game day roster. Or is it 40? It's 46 now. 46 guys that get to play on Sunday. Stepped up in a big way after Akeem Hicks was ejected. Got a half a sack. Had some, tackles for loss in there as well. He's been outstanding in these first 4 weeks. So I'm very proud of Bilal Nichols, and happy to be able to put him on this list for this week. Bear up too. I guess I'm going to have to stop calling him this, because he's been playing well the last few weeks. But Mr. Sandy Vagina himself, Aaron Lynch, playing well. He got a sack yesterday on Jameis Winston, was the guy that finally wrangled him down. Also had an interception. Aaron Lynch dropped into coverage and made an easy interception too. He just jumped up there and took the ball right out of the sky, and the next thing you know, he's running down the field with it. And, I think today I will retire the moniker Sandy Vagina for Aaron Lynch, because he's been playing. He's finally healthy and finally playing. And there we go. We're getting our money's worth out of this guy. So rest in peace to the funny moniker Sandy Vagina, in reference to Aaron Lynch. He's just Aaron Lynch, number 99 from now on. Congratulations. So bear up to Aaron Lynch for his interception, his sack, and overall being a good football player. It's working out so far with Aaron Lynch. Bear up to Trey Burton. Boy, this guy, the last couple of weeks, has really kind of been living up to what we hoped he was going to be. Only 2 catches yesterday, but for 86 yards. So, the 39-yarder for the touchdown, and he added a 47-yarder later on that set up, I think, the Tariq Cohen touchdown to make it 21-3 yesterday. But, 2 catches for 86 yards. That's impact right there. Bear up to Taylor Gabriel. 7 catches, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns yesterday. The little shovel pass, and then the 3 yard. I think both of his touchdowns were for 3 yards, but he managed 104 yards on the day. And you know what the difference was? Actually, we'll talk about that in a minute when we get to, obviously, Trubisky is on this list. When we get to Mitch, we'll talk about what happened. Bear up to Tariq Cohen. 13 carries, 53 yards, 7 catches, 121 yards, and a touchdown on the afternoon. He ran the football like an animal yesterday. He was just a matchup nightmare for the Buccaneers yesterday. They could do nothing with him. Just an outstanding afternoon of football from him. Bear up to Eddie Jackson. Yet another interception, killing the most promising drive of the first half for the Buccaneers. They got a big pass play to Deshaun Jackson. They got them deep into Bears territory again. And then a play or two later, Fitzpatrick served it up, and Eddie Jackson made a break on the football, makes the interception, kills the drive. And, we go into half only having given up a field goal against the number 1 offense in pro football. So an outstanding job from Eddie Jackson getting it done once again. Bear up to, have we talked about Taylor Gabriel, Trey Burton, Matt Nagy? There we go, Matt Nagy. Outstanding job. Finally looked like the offensive genius that we had been advertised that we were going to be getting. the matchups that he had the Bears, benefiting from yesterday with Gabriel and Cohen, the two fastest guys on the team. Who knew that the Buccaneers were slow on defense because they were getting smoked by those guys all day long. Trubisky only completed 19 passes yesterday. He completed 14 of them in Gabriel. So, getting the job done there. And, aside from how they're trying to use Jordan Howard in the running game, or at least yesterday anyway, I got nothing but great things to say about Matt Nagy really turning things around with his play calling and with his scheming of, his offensive game plan against the Buccaneers yesterday. Bear up to Cody Parkey, 2 for 2 with his field goal attempts. He had a long of 50, and the other one was 47 yards. Those are not easy kicks to make, and he made them both look easy yesterday. He's been an outstanding pickup for us. He's been consistent, just missing that one field goal last week against Arizona. And that's what we want. We want to believe that the guy's going to put it through the uprights when he has to take the field, and he is no Connor Barth. That is absolutely for certain. So let's see, who else is on this list? Bear up to Kevin Tolliver. I mentioned it in the first quarter knee-jerk reaction, how well he was playing early on. He did give up that big pass play in the second quarter to Deshaun Jackson that set up but that was the drive that ended in the interception from Eddie Jackson. Overall, with Deshaun Jackson on one side, Mike Evans on the other side, they had some matchup nightmares to worry about. And stepping up as an undrafted rookie free agent for the injured Prince Mukamura did an outstanding job for the Bears yesterday. The passing game was null and void for the Buccaneers as far as generating any real trouble for the Bears yesterday. Let's see. Am I forgetting anyone else? We got Lynch, Cohen, Gabriel, Burton, Tolliver, Jackson. Okay, so our two main guys. Bear up to Khalil Mack. Another sack, another strip sack, forced another turnover with the brushing of Jameis Winston's arm for the Danny Trevathan. Actually, Danny's not on this list. Bear up Danny Trevathan while we're talking about it. So what does that make? We were with Ryan Pace made 12, Danny Trevathan 13 for this game. I wonder if that's a record. I wonder if it is. Maybe it is. Who knows? But, the guy's just been a monster. We talked about it earlier on about how he is the discussion for Defensive Player of the Year right now and on the short list for MVP at the moment. And that's an outstanding, just bananas impact that he's had on this football team since joining it. And then, of course, bear up to who? Mitchell Trubisky. The guy has been, he hasn't had an easy go of it, that's for sure. Man, he responded extremely well yesterday. They were saying that all week long in practice, this guy looked like he was in the zone, making throws and just making it look easy in practice, and it translated on the field yesterday. He was in complete command of everything that was in front of him, had an outstanding afternoon, 19 of 26, 354 yards, 6 touchdowns, no picks, no turnovers, only sacked one time, a QB rating of 154.6, and 158.3 is a perfect score. So he was just short of that, being able to do that. Not to mention he matched Tariq Cohen as leading rusher of the football team with 53 yards on 3 carries. And like I said, if Taylor Gabriel gets a better block on the defender that he had, Trubisky walks in with a rushing touchdown from about 30 yards out. So wasn't meant to be because he was meant to throw 6 touchdown passes and not 5 yesterday. But nonetheless, an outstanding afternoon. And I don't know how many of you guys caught it last night, but I did join the Pewtercast guys on their live show last night. And when they asked me, what the difference was on the offense, it was Mitchell Trubisky. Obviously Matt Nagy had something to do with it as far as play calling and matchups and getting Tariq Cohen and Taylor Gabriel more involved. But, the line on Trubisky from me going into the game was that he was either trying to force it into guys that weren't open or he was missing guys that were wide open. And yesterday he was making those throws. Those that had a couple of throws to Taylor Gabriel yesterday. Those were the ones that he sent sailing over Taylor Gabriel's head that could have been big plays, possibly touchdowns against Seattle and Arizona right off the top of my head. He didn't miss those throws yesterday. He had just the perfect amount of touch to get those to Gabriel and make those plays that we've been missing It's like it's all been there. Like we see it, and that's what's been so frustrating is that we see the opportunities, but we're not taking advantage of them because we're missing the throws. We're either missing the open guys or we're just missing the throws to those open guys, and that's why the Bears were having so much trouble offensively. Yesterday, Trubisky was finding those guys, and he was hitting those guys. And really the only throw that I can think of that Trubisky missed was a throw to Allen Robinson down the sideline. I think it was during the third quarter yesterday. If he puts it out in front of Allen Robinson, he hits him in stride, and it very well could have been a touchdown. Instead, he underthrew it just a little bit, and it got knocked away. It would have been a big play for Robinson, and possibly have been a touchdown for him. But instead, it was just a bit underthrown, and it got knocked away. If Trubisky nails that throw to Robinson, he hits him in stride, and who knows what happens there. But that was really the only one that he missed, and it was more of a good defensive play on a short throw than anything else. It wasn't a bad decision or a bad throw. Trubisky really didn't make either of those yesterday, and that was the main difference, was that he only completed 19 passes, but he completed 6 touchdowns in those 19 passes for 354 yards and 6 touchdowns. An outstanding afternoon from the young quarterback, and hopefully this was the breakout game. I want this to be the rule, not the exception. Don't expect the kid to throw 6 touchdowns every single week, but I'm talking more about his throws and his decision making. Hopefully this is the Mitchell Trubisky that we get to know and love going forward, as opposed to the guy that just didn't quite seem like he was going to turn the corner and be that franchise guy that we want him to be. He made a big turn yesterday, and I'm proud of him. So bear up to Mitch Trubisky and the other 12 guys who made the bear up list this week. And that will do it for the Week 4 review episode of Bears Talk Underground. We will be back on Thursday. We will do our first quarter review with Lauren Cox, our good friend from Locked on Bears and whatever other accolades he's adding to his resume these days. He's a busy guy. But he'll be with us on Thursday. We will answer, for those of you guys who've been following, who follow the Facebook group, go to Bears Talk Underground on Facebook. One of our most loyal listeners, John C. Collins, asked me some questions a couple of weeks back. We're going to get those questions answered as part of the show coming up on Thursday. And then next Tuesday on October the 9th, Jeff Pearlman, the author of the USFL book, Football for a Buck, The Crazy Rise and Crazier Demise of the USFL, and the author of the 2011 biography, Sweetness, about, you guessed it, Walter Payton, will be on the show right in the spot where a Week 5 review episode would have gone. We're going to spend that time talking to Jeff about the USFL and Walter Payton. I'm really looking forward to doing that. So come back on Thursday for the first quarter review as we head into our Week 5 bye. And then the following Tuesday, our friend Jeff Pearlman, our new friend, I should say, will be joining us to talk about the USFL and share some Sweetness stories with us as well. So that will do it for this week. Come back on Thursday for the first quarter review. And until then, my name is Larry D, and this has been the Bears Talk Underground.